Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leathertainment podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Leatherstein, and we have the head designer and a senior designer from Poland, from Paris, with us. And we're going to discuss affordable, high quality leather goods without the high price tag. I think Poland is doing a great job providing this value to the leather market. I have confirmed this myself by inspecting one of their products, and I was super interested. I reached out to them so we can have a discussion around this to inform more leather users about how this works and what's the magic behind it and understand their brand better. So thankfully they agreed and they're gonna spend some time with us together here answering some questions. So Mica and Juliette, welcome and let's get started. Can you guys please go ahead and introduce yourself, your role in Poland, and your story with leather? That's always my first question. How did you end up in leather work? Usually it's not the childhood dream, and somehow we end up in leather work. And it's always interesting to hear how you guys got into this.
Hello, Tanner. Well, I'm Juliette. I'm head of design for the leather goods part at Poland since almost 4 years now. I'm in the leather industry since 10 years. I've been working for several brands in Paris. The connection with leather came quite rapidly after my study. I did an internship and then I met a senior designer for the leather goods. Then he introduced me to this world. And what I like about the leather good is that you create an object, so it can live by itself. It's unlike the clothing, it doesn't need to be worn to get its shape. So that's what I really like in this area.
Hello, I'm Micaela. I'm a senior designer for the brand. I've been working for Poland for the last 6 years now. And I first got really curious and attracted to leather goods because I find them like they're very interesting, tiny objects and structures. They're like tiny structures where everything kind of, fits together perfectly like a puzzle. And also, well, I have always considered them a good investment piece. So I was really interested in creating like timeless pieces that you can cherish for many years to come.
Perfect. Yeah, leather is a great material for that. It's so versatile and so durable. I think that's why for thousands of years we just humans start and never give up using leather.
Absolutely.
Also,
Yeah.
for the same reasons, I love leather too. All right, so let's learn about the brand a little bit now, the Poland. How and when it started, what's the promise and value Poland provides to its customers?
So Polen started as a brand in 2016. It was created by two brothers and a sister. They actually saw a gap in the market that there were on the one side like the big luxury brands who were doing good quality and design, and there were the more affordable brands that maybe were lacking a little bit in creativity or quality. So they saw an interest in doing leather goods that had like iconic designs and also high quality materials, great craftsmanship, and an affordable price. So they got really interesting in this goal, and they visited many workshops in Eastern Europe, and they finally settled in Spain in a little town called Ubrique, where they had this amazing craftsmanship that they've been developing for many years, and the owners got really involved in the whole making of the handbags, and they were working hand in hand with the craftsmen in studying the whole process, and they knew they wanted to make a really good brand, that it would take time and dedication for it.
Exactly, that's an important matter in to explain how Poland got built. Is that they took the time. They took the time to visit and find the perfect workshop. They took the time to learn how to make a bag, are all the components of the bags. It's really rare in the business to be able to discuss with like a CEO that is like really that knows all the details of how you make a bag. Like it's really impressive because they really know everything. So it's really easy to talk with them when you explain something in the making. They know like all the steps. So this is like they take the time to do things properly. They would like to spend more times in order to make products good. And I think it's really like an important data in understanding how pollen was built at the very beginning.
That's really amazing to know. And you're right. I noticed this a lot of times. Many brand owners who created leather crafts, leather brands, really either really don't have much idea about leather or how it is created. It's more of a business, kind of came together somehow and it become a business. And a lot of people who knows these stuff in the organization does it, but usually owners are a little bit distant in the knowledge side. But that's really reassuring to know that. Were they involved in leather or crafting any time before this Polan idea, or was it just completely from that realizing the gap in the market and then educating themselves before they
Exactly.
build it?
Absolutely.
Exactly. They came from another area, and they decided to build this leather good company, and they took the time to learn
Educate themselves.
exactly.
Okay, perfect. And one other key thing came there. I'm gonna add it like a little elaboration point. Ubrique. I keep hearing this town recently a lot. What's so special about Ubrique? Like why people are so into leather, or what's good about the town?
Well, Ubrique is an amazing place. It's an all-white town that is not far away from Sevilla, and I think it has almost like 12,000 inhabitants, but 80% of its population works on the leather industry. Their economy completely depends on the leather, and the know-how is transmitted from generation to generation. So everyone is so involved in the handcraft is so developed there. They actually breathe it every day. And there is this fun fact about Ubrique is that they have created their own tools. So there is this thing called a patacabras that is like a wooden hammer, for example,
Hmm.
that the artisans will use when making a handbag, and it usually fits the shape of your hand perfectly, and they keep it for life. And it's just an amazing place to go see and learn about how your bags are being made.
Yeah. It's really crazy when you enter the city. You really feel like, as Mica said, that the whole city is breathing with leather good, with leather craftsmanship. You have when you enter the city by car, you have like a roundabout, and it's like but it's true. The emblems of the city is like the tools, like the patacabras and the compass. So it's really like the city is
Leather town.
living. Yeah, exactly. It's like
That sounds
leather.
like Disneyland to me.
You should go visit.
You should go.
Oh
You
yeah,
should go.
exactly. I haven't been to Spain, but this is so interesting now. 12,000 people. It's almost like a big village dedicated to leather. That sounds amazing
And
experience.
it's been hundreds of years that they are dedicated to this industry. So there is like a really strong knowledge, a really strong know-how, and it's incredible to get the chance to settle there. And the owner, the founder of Poland, they went in Spain and they settled for 1 year there, just to get the time to know the correct people, to meet the correct persons, and to discover how it works. And it's really an incredible city.
It's perfect.
Ah.
Yeah, I think it's a great strategic advantage there. So having the talent pool is one of the things it's really hard to develop. This is not an easy craft that you can immediately start collecting people who had nothing to do with leather before and then start teaching them at a pace that you can ensure your quality on the products. Finding a resource like that, I think it's a huge strategic advantage for Poland. So congratulations. How do you define Poland's and your individual design philosophies to us in the simplest way possible?
So Poland design statement for me are creativity and singularity. Every time we try to find those two elements on our bags, on our product. For me, it's a soft minimalism. It means like it's not a minimalism that is harsh or too raw. It's always a minimalism with a lot of softness, a lot of curves and roundness. Also, we have the really refined details. That's a bit the elements we use when we think about new designs to be worked.
It's a very feminine brand. We have very organic and fluid lines, and we try to make like sculptural pieces, and always very recognizable. So whenever you see a Polen bag in the street, you would know that's a Polen.
Great. Yeah, actually, I can see that in the design. So that was a good summary of it. How does this design process work at Poland from start to finish? How do you guys approach developing the new products?
First, I can say that compared to the other brand, we are doing small collections because we rather like to do small but goods. We don't have like huge collection plans. Sorry, we do we launch few new shapes per year, but that's because we want to have the time to be able to work on it, to find the good details, to refine the craftsmanship and so on. So that's the base of the way we work. Then it's a lot of teamwork, of discussion. We discuss about the new shapes, the new style we would like to have in the collection. Then one designer starts to work one project. He do several trials on it. An important thing is to say that the designer, they can work by sketch, but what we mostly do, it's like they almost start with is the microfiber. They start from the material to build the prototypes. So they do like small sculptures, so small prototypes, and that helps us a lot to be able to create new volume, new shapes, and singularity, to find singularity in the volumes.
Yeah. Also, we usually like take inspiration from our surroundings, like for example, nature or architecture or ceramics. Any designer can look for their inspirations and translate them into these tiny mock-ups that we do in 3D volumes. And this material, the microfiber that Juliette was telling you about, is very good to manipulate in a way that it behaves similar to the leather, so we can create our signature folds and pleats. And also we are all like an in-house team, so we know the brand very well, and we have the chance to be able to discuss all together and work as a team, like she was saying.
And what I was about to say, that when the designer has complete design, when he has built his object, when we are all agree that it's like a really nice piece of work and that we want to move further, then the discussion starts with the pattern maker, because we have a pattern maker in-house working at Poland. So we have one working with us in Paris, but we also have pattern maker working at Poland workshop in Spain. And that's why I was saying it's a lot of discussion, but because the discussion starts with the pattern maker, and the designer and pattern maker discuss to see how, because the design, the mock-up that the designer made is not a perfect pattern. Sometimes it's just glued, or we need to adjust it to be able to be stitched, to be produced. And then the pattern maker is building the first mock-up that is made first in microfiber, and then we move with the laser trial, and it's like a
Back and forth all the
exactly
time.
back and forth between pattern maker and designer, and that's also one of the key of Poland's quality and refinement, let's say. It's this discussion and this partnership between pattern maker and designers.
And to be honest, as designers, we pay a lot of attention to details, and I think that's what makes a great product in the end.
Yes, so that's a long and tedious process to get something from shape to what leather product looks like, and it doesn't always turn into what you had in mind. You can't stitch it. Technically, it doesn't fit to the machine. There's other things that get in the way. So, and now you guys have some operation, as I understand it, in Paris, where you do the design, right? And the Spain is the production facilities are in separate places. So do you guys have a full setup where those prototypes can be sewn, and then sewers or makers alongside the pattern makers in France as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We have built this atelier in Paris last year. There are 2 people working here, and they are studying with us the first prototypes, and then after it goes to briquet, and then they move on with the industrialization to start the discussion with the workshop, the Spanish workshops, and so on. But truth is, it's always lots of discussion of brainstorming between Paris and Spain.
Yeah, but as you said, if you take the time, if you guys give yourselves that luxury of time to create something perfectly, by not forcing you to come up with 100 new designs every year, that's the proper way of doing it. Another aspect of the design, the materials, the accessories, who finds them or who chooses them to apply into the designs? Because in leather world there is endless possibilities. Leather can look like or feel like anything, any color, any texture, shape, or grain pattern. And who decides those things? Where do you guys go for finding and purchasing the leathers and the accessories, which is the buckles, the coatings? Those are all incredibly important. They are so small things, but I know it from experience. If you don't have the right coating on it, it's going to start rusting and getting darker and get black, and weird things happen with low quality materials. So who's in charge of those material selection and ensuring the quality of those materials?
Well, like I said previously, it's we have an all in-house team, so we have a quality department, and as designers, we work hand in hand with them. We go to the fairs in Paris and Milan to choose new leathers and new articles that would fit well in our collection. We would do run so many tests on them. We actually incorporated our own lab that is installed in Spain. And our team makes sure that the quality is the highest that it can be. They work with the most prestigious tanneries from Italy and Spain. And like I was saying, like our team goes to the tanneries and they check every production in-house before it leaves the tannery, so that they can make sure that all the quality standards are being respected, and they see skin by skin, leather by leather, and they check it all. And we're very attentionate to details.
Yeah, exactly. And this quality team also make the sourcing. So when we have a new design, that we want to develop. We give them a brief. It's like either we want a smooth grain, either we want a grainy leather, this type of grain. It has to be supple, it has to be rigid. We give them a brief, and then they do some research. We also, as Mica said, go to fairs to see new materials, this kind of things. But the quality team is always in the tanneries. So they are always there to get the new leather. So after they go to the tanneries, then they give our brief to the tanneries, and they do some trials. We test it we do some prototypes to test the leather to see if they are reacting well, because it's true that a lot of our bags get some pleats, get a construction that is like not so easy for the leather, so we have to do many trials, and that's the way we are working with the quality and sourcing team.
I heard that Italy and Spain is usually the tanneries the leather's coming from, and you guys have the quality control teams, which is important in leather sourcing because as an organic material, every batch may vary differently, and sometimes if you don't have your checks in place, you might get a different looking batch, and things may.
It's true that it's a real luxury to have our own team, because I know that in high-end brand that doesn't have necessarily people in-house to check the leather, and as Mica was saying, and it's really rare, the quality team is going in tanneries to check 100% of the production. So it's like they spend their entire days checking the skins. It's a huge work, but it's also the key that guarantee the quality. And at Pollen, that's also what we are. That's also our specificity. Is like we have really high expectation. Like we have high requirements, even though the price are not so expensive. But we have the same process as luxury brands. And this quality team comes from like really high companies, so it's really good to be able to work with them.
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty detail-oriented setup, and it shows in the work. And we already talked about that you recap part a little bit. So my question was like, where do you guys create your products? We know it's in Spain, but then going further on that question, is it only Ubrique, or do you guys have some other locations to produce as well? And if so, within Ubrique, is it Poland's own factory where the town people works, or there are smaller shops that you guys work with? And everybody maybe makes a different design. What kind of setup is that?
Well, we only produce in Ubrique. We have our own team based there. We're almost 200 people. We control the whole industrial process. So we receive the leathers in Ubrique in our own warehouse. We check all the metallic pieces. We do all the cutting process. We prepare the packages. We control the quality of every piece that is sent to the workshop. Then we get the bags and we do the quality control. And we do the packaging and shipping all over the world. So that's a very complicated process. We have our team that is constantly in every workshop doing like checkups all day. And like I said before, we also have incorporated the development department that is installed in Ubrique. So there's the production department and the design development department.
Yeah, that sounds like 12,000 people live in the village, and you guys have an operation of 200 on your own. And I'm seeing the assembly workshops are much more people. A lot, like most of the town sounds like work for Poland right now. So it's pretty cool.
You can say that.
You say you guys shipping worldwide from Ubrique as well, right? Is that the only place that every product gets out? And is it only online, or you guys have like boutiques and stores as well?
Yeah, everything is sent from Ubrique. It's it was the most convenient things to do because all our products are made in Ubrique. We sell all online, and also we have 2 stores, so one in Paris and one in New York.
We don't work with wholesalers, so we like I was saying, we control the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good leeway to my next question. How does Poland go about pricing its products? You know, you said you don't work with wholesalers, and that's a huge portion in the pricing equation, right? Once a
Totally.
wholesaler or a distributor gets involved, you got to account for that piece. You know, they have to make money, obviously. Um, so that's a business decision when you're creating this business model. And it seems like Poland chose the direct-to-consumer model, so it controls the whole thing and ships to the consumer, taking all other parties who would expect profit from it. So how does the pricing goes? As I dissected the numero uno, I was very impressed with everything I found, the leather, the construction, the complexity of the design, you know, how well it put together. It was clearly nothing less than any of those high-end brands that I've seen, and yet it's like 1/10, 1/5 of the price, depending on which brand you're looking at. So how does it work on the pricing side?
So, like we said previously, we have cut out the middlemen, so we don't work with wholesalers. We only sell online and in our 2 stores. We control all the margins and the costs. And usually, a confection cost for our bags would be the same as luxury brands. We would have the same leather and materials like thread, painting, and hardware, but our margin is much lower. And that kind of gives us complete control on what we can do and what we cannot do.
That makes perfect sense, and that's what makes it very appealing and interesting to people. Unfortunately, you know, the thing I'm trying to address with most of my content is like a bag being $5,000 doesn't necessarily mean you're paying all that money for the quality. You know, there's a lot more involved in it. It's the prestige, it's the status built around the brand. You know, the bags cost to a certain level. Good makes cost. They're not cheap to make, but they're not $5,000. So by adjusting this business model, you guys are able to reflect this quality and price advantages to the end user so they can enjoy it.
But that was from the beginning one of the main goals of the brand, offering great craftsmanship, high quality product, great design at an affordable price. And the fact is that we're very proud to be very transparent about our production line. And many other brands that have the same price range, they wouldn't be able to have the same quality and standards that we have. So we're very proud of that part.
That's a bit the key of the statement of the brand is like requirement to have high expectation, high demands, and also this honesty, putting like quite low margin to be able to practice to get fair prices.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm impressed by what you guys doing. And on to that point, some of my audience, I heard that Poland increased their prices recently. Even though I checked the numero uno I bought, it was still the same price in the past 3, 4 months, I think. So that wasn't changed. So how much of an increase there was on some products maybe, and what was the reason? And to go further along in that process, is Poland planning to increase its general price point in mid to long term? So is it like a initial phase of a business to establish your market and then move it up a little bit, or what's the plan if you can share some?
Well, actually, our slight rise of prices comes after 2 years of not changing our prices. And we, like many other luxury brands, we had to adapt to the crazy economic situation we're living in. And there was a rise in the raw materials. We wanted to keep on working with our long-standing partners and pay fairly to our craftsmen. So it was a very much needed change. It doesn't mean that it's going to continue or repeat itself in 6 months, no. But it's just something that it had to be done.
Yeah, we were forced increase a bit the price, because as we explained before, we have very low margin. So with the increase of the material, we had to increase a bit the price. We could not do in another way. We had to.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand that. And being in the leather, doing my own brand too, I know some of the leathers I bought from Italy increased 30 to 20% between in the past year. So it's like if your margins are, already minimal, you have to reflect it somehow to the consumers to be able
Absolutely.
to continue. So I understand that. As Poland's owners realize the gap in the market, there's a growing amount of people who really don't care about that status piece anymore. Maybe 30 years ago it was a huge deal, but today the Gen Z, especially when I see them, they really don't care that much about those marketing and status pieces. They're more into like, am I really getting a quality item? Is it sustainable? How is it made? Is the people treated fairly? They care more about these things. Is it fairly priced? So as these people grow more powerful in the economy, I think they have a bigger pull in the demand. Like, give me something quality for the fair price. I'm happy to pay you. It doesn't have to be cheap, but I'm not going to pay anything more than that because I don't have to justify myself to anybody else. I don't have to show off this brand on me. So there is a bigger, like, growing crowd of this. I think Poland is a great service to this crowd, and more brands trying to fill the same space, which makes me very happy. So
So it's true that it's a true and honest concern. I think now the consumer, they want to go behind the curtains and to see a bit more about how a
Made.
bag is made, and all the quality of the component and so on. And I think that is why Poland consumers come to get our bags.
exactly,
And
and we
it's also
can
very important to educate the consumer on what they are getting, and be very transparent about the production process.
exactly. So here we can clearly say that, like, when you're buying a Poland product, you're getting literally the same thing in terms of quality and craftsmanship that any high-end quality, high-end luxury brand may give you. But the status piece is not there. If you don't care about it, you just don't waste your money. Um, get something fairly priced from brands like Poland.
Exactly.
So
But
yeah.
also, although quality, we also try to share like a really nice and refined object also in terms of aesthetic. And that is why we also pay very much attention to details. We have both, we have the quality, but also the refined design. We have both.
Absolutely, that's a unique piece. A lot of people are trying to make replicas of bigger brands and don't have their own design line and philosophies. But I see that in Poland, you guys clearly have a mindset and then following your own line. So that's a unique value there. I'm sure your customers recognize and appreciate it too.
We hope.
Perfect. What design or color trends do you see in the future of leather fashion?
Well, we were discussing about this in our office earlier, and we actually see a tendency for people to kind of want to feel free and liberate themselves from big, boxy, and uncomfortable bags. So people want to travel lighter, and they want to feel like their bag adapts to themselves instead of the other way around, that it's very useful for them in their everyday life, and they can take it during the day and then go out at night, and it's very versatile, a very versatile object. And we also see this whole tendency of getting like new alternative materials, like we were discussing a little bit more about the eco solutions that are right now in the market.
Yeah, for us, we are quite concerned, although we are working with leather, and this is our base to work on leather goods. We also are concerned, also us in the team, we pay more and more attention to our meat consumption. Some of the designers are vegan, so we are really studying the new materials, alternative to leathers, but as we wanted to do it the honest way, we didn't want to move to some vegan materials that are like based from plastic. So, which is like almost always the case. So we spend with the sourcing team, we spend years and years to search for the correct materials. And now we are really happy because we are working with, we found a supplier that is able to produce a material that is 100% plant-based, so 0% plastic. And that also fits our design, because we have designed with lots of pleats, and it was like really hard to find the correct material with like the really good quality. So we have this material, and we are going to use it on some iconic designs. So we are really happy because it's because it's really like a concern for us. Also, we are working on other materials that have like a sustainability. Also, the recycling of our leather is a matter for us. So we are studying many ways of reusing the leftovers from leathers. So we are working on some subjects, and we would be happy to be able to share that with you in a few months.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to. Yeah, vegan leather is another question I get a lot. We're gonna interview one of the very established brands producing a true vegan leather out of cactus material. So I will talk to them in another podcast episode next week, so you guys can watch it too if it's interesting. But as you said, truly vegan alternatives, I have big respect for it, but I warn people always, just don't get cheated by people who use vegan to sell you their plastic, which was labeled plastic up until 10 years ago. Now they use vegan because it's the trend, so it's just deceptive.
And also sometimes they doesn't have the durability. So if you buy a purse in vegan leather and it gets wasted after a few months, then what's the point?
Right.
Exactly. So what is nice in leather is like it's like a really strong material. You have this idea of durability. It also comes from food waste.
Right.
So it's a bit like recycling, and vegan leather, if it's if it's not meat, but if it's made with plastic and then it gets destroyed after a few months, I don't see the point. That's why we spend a lot of time studying how we can do this in an honest way, because it's really something that we want to do, and consumers, they ask us a lot about vegan leather, yes, but we wanted to do it correctly. So now we have this material that we are really proud of, and that is 100% plant-based, so it's amazing.
My last question here, what is your favorite Poland product, like as the designers over there, and why?
Well, we love them all.
Of course.
What I was saying is like it's hard for me to choose because they're all like my babies. So you invest time on them. You see them growing. You take care of them. So it's hard for me to choose. But I would say the number 9, because I think it really match the aesthetic that we want for Poland. You can find this roundness, these split details. It has elegance, but it's not in a too strict way. It has like a relaxed attitude, and also I really there is like as I was saying, these split details on the side, and you have the fixation is really complex and requires a really strong know-how. And I saw the craft person in the factory making the hand stitch on the side. And it's true that when I wear the bag, I think about those person, and that's why it's like, it's my little favorite.
I say, yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's beautiful, beautiful, and I can't believe the price. That's really good. Okay,
Well,
yours, Mica?
on my side, I would say I would have to choose, and I would say the number one Nano, because it's the smaller version of our signature bag. But as I'm quite a small person, I think it fits me perfectly, and I can fit all my essentials in it, and it's very versatile. I can wear it during the day with the strap, and during the night with the handle, and it's very chic. So if I had to
It
choose,
is.
I would say that one.
Yeah, I got the little bigger version of this one. It was beautiful too. And I love that you guys use those like curved, like I don't know what you call
Folds.
it in design. Yeah, the folds. Yeah, that's I think that's the most distinct line I see in most of your products. It's really beautiful, thoughtful. So this is great. So I really appreciate all the answers and insights you provide behind the brand, your design and production process. Hopefully, it was helpful to some of the people. I know it is a hot topic. Polan is a searched brand term. We get a lot of questions about this, and I'm happy to answer that because you guys clearly doing something very high service to the leather consumers. So I truly appreciate everything you guys do for the leather community.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
We try to
it's
do it the honest way.
yep, absolutely. No, you're doing a great job. Again, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you guys want to add to this? Where people can find Polan, how can they buy or stay tuned? You can share those links and contacts here, so we'll make sure to tag it on the posts and the videos and the podcast. You can just state it here before we say goodbye.
No, I wanted to
Okay.
say thank you because it's true that it's important to get people like you doing some investigations. I was saying like people wants to go behind the curtain, and person like you helps customers to understand better the product and what is a good product, what is a good quality, and what is not. So thank you for helping us. Making pedagogy to customers. And I think like this is more than a trend. I hope there are gonna be more and more people joining us in this research of having a fair product and honest product.
I agree. I think it's a movement. I call it democratization of leather movement.